Alex from LA Closet Design, and I'm super excited to have started my new blog, CLOSETPHILE. I get asked a lot of questions about closets, how big closets should be, what's the best hangers. So I thought it'd be really fun to do a column on CLOSETPHILE called Ask Lisa, where we're gonna compile all of your questions and I'll do my best to answer them all. So first one, which I get a lot, is from @NAveline and @Caitlin Proctor, who asked, how did you get into the business of organizing and designing closets? So this is one of my favorite questions that I get asked, and it's really sort of, I just, made a left turn and I landed in closets. Believe it or not, I was a chemist and I decided to get my MBA. And so I thought I was gonna really kind of combine the two and do business and science, and landed in a design firm on the operations side. So it was a firm where we were specializing in kitchens and bathrooms, and I thought, what about closets? And so it was that kind of pivotal moment where I thought nobody was doing it at the level that I wanted to, so I quickly studied and started doing closet design, and that was back in 2007. Next question is from @Cashmere Librarian, and she asked, drawer inserts, what are the most popular colors and materials, and how do you calculate how much space you need for everything? So, it comes in every color you can imagine. Different fabrics would be suede and leathers and velvets, but I'd say that probably the most popular is going to be a black velvet or a black suede. And it's a good choice. I mean, I think when clients ask me, what I want to do, I think it's great. I think if you have a lot of diamonds and watches, it certainly makes them shine more. But also, I think just getting out of your comfort zone. If your favorite color is purple, why not do a purple insert? So I think it's just a way to inject your personality and have some fun in the drawer. In terms of how much space you need for everything, I think it really just, I think it's just a matter of what size your drawers are and what you have. So it depends on if you're wanting to store sunglasses or jewelry, if it's for a man, if it's for a woman. So I think it's just knowing what you have. And just keep in mind, if it's a deep drawer, you can always do a 2-level insert. So next question from @Jenny NYX3. She asks, what kind of hangers do you personally use? Good question. There's so many hangers out there, and personally, like most people, you're trying to get a lot of clothing into the space, so, I'm no exception. But I'm a fan of slimline hangers, and I really love metal hangers. And there's one that I use, which I'm happy to show you guys, but it's a metal hanger that's pretty slimline, and it's in brass, and I'm a big fan. @Delia M777 asked, hi Lisa, is it okay to store designer bags in a closed glass cabinet, or should they be stored in their dust bags? Good question. I am a big fan of bags being out of their dust bags. I think, it's a shame when I see bags in their dust bags, but I get that, we don't want dust on them, and I think a glass cabinet is perfect because you can still see the bags. I like to use the dust bags to stuff the bags so you can still keep them together, but I'm a big fan of using what you have, and I think if you don't see it and things are hidden, you're never going to use it. @Matt221, where do you get your hanging boot trees? So we sell them at laclosetdesign.com, so you can definitely purchase them from us, but I'll just kind of explain why I love the boot trees. And again, it's a way for you to see the boots that you have, to maintain the shape, and if you have boots hidden in boxes or you have it stored behind a closed cabinet, you don't know what you have. So I like them hanging, and you can use boot shapers. You don't have to use trees, but what's great is that they hook onto the rods, and they're very organized. @PurseDreams asked, how many square feet are the closets you design? I love this question because I feel like I don't discriminate based on size. The smallest closet that I've ever designed was 10 square feet, but they can go up to over 1,000 square feet. So largest closets would be 3-story closets, 2-story closets, but certainly if you didn't have a walk-in closet or as a reach-in closet or a wardrobe, I certainly do that. There's always room to maximize and design space, so I almost feel like the littler ones are sometimes trickier because you have to make sure that everything is fit in. If you've got a large space, then clearly you've got enough room to put everything in it, but I think not everybody has the luxury of space, and so just being mindful of the space, using the height that you have in the closet. So, not stopping a closet short of the ceiling if you can go all the way to the top, I think is a smart idea. Wherever you have the depth, use pull-out shelves so that you're able to see everything there. So, I think in how I design everything, I really like to operate on the premise that you see everything so that you're going to use everything. At N. Aveline also asked, how did you discover your passion and love for this? I think again, like I saw that there was a niche for it, and I've always been interested in fashion and design, and so I think it was, really kind of a natural progression, and I don't think I truly knew how much, I loved and was passionate for this space. It was a space that didn't exist. I love working with clients. I think it's always been sort of this new discovery. When I started doing this, nobody was doing it, so everything was out of the box, and I love that. I think that there's no boundaries, and I always thought when I first landed in this space, why do closets look the way they do? I felt like it didn't need to be a space where you just put your clothes in, shut the door, and walked out of it. Like I was always sort of, from the very beginning, passionate about this idea that it's a dressing room space. And now, that you see the way kitchens are, that you see homes, I feel like there's no boundaries. You go to a retail store and, I get inspiration from that, and I always think, why can a closet look like that? Why does it have to be wallpapered with cabinetry? There's just so many materials that we can use, from metals to glass to mirrors. So I'm inspired every day, when I'm in restaurants or traveling or shopping. So I just love it. Thank you guys for all the questions. I'm happy to answer them, so keep them coming, and for your interest in ClosetPhile. That's it for now.